A breathtaking Islamic kingdom nestles among majestic mountains, its vibrant colors catching the sunlight. Intricate designs adorn the magnificent architecture, reflecting the kingdom's rich heritage. On a high balcony, King Adil surveys his prosperous kingdom, his gaze filled with pride and benevolence. In the sun-drenched palace courtyard, Princess Bano's radiant beauty captivates as she turns, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. "Father, may I seek your permission for a horseback ride?" she asks. Her voice, a melodious plea. King Adil beams with paternal affection. "Of course, my dear Bano. But please, be cautious and return before dusk," he replies, his concern gentle yet firm. Princess Bano and her friends traverse a mountainous landscape, the air alive with the vibrant colors and scents of spring. Lush greenery blankets the hills as they journey deeper into the breathtaking terrain. A friend expresses concern, their voice echoing through the mountains. "Princess, we have come far enough. Even the soldiers have said that it would not be appropriate to go further." In a green meadow bathed in sunlight, Princess Bano dismounts her horse, a playful smile lighting up her face. She leads the horse to a patch of lush grass, its soft blades promising a sweet respite. With a carefree skip, she ventures into the meadow, relishing the warmth of the sun and whispering, "Come on, let's leave the horses and stroll here for a while on the green grass. Then we will return." Beneath a canopy of leaves, the princess ventures into a dense thicket, where sunlight paints shifting patterns on the forest floor. She halts, a gasp escaping her lips as her eyes fall upon a flower of extraordinary size and beauty. The bloom, seemingly white from afar, reveals delicate hints of red and pink as she draws closer, its petals whispering secrets. A flower with shimmering petals displays an otherworldly iridescence, subtly shifting from green to blue to yellow. The princess leans in, her eyes wide with childlike curiosity as she exclaims, "Hey, is it changing color due to the sun's rays? Or is it like this naturally?" Driven by an irresistible urge, she bends to inhale the flower's scent. Her eyes flutter, her head spins, and she collapses onto the soft earth, unconscious. Through the dense forest, soldiers and friends carry the unconscious princess, their frantic movements a desperate race against time. Worry and panic are etched deeply on their faces, each footstep echoing their growing fear. Unseen, a strange glowing flower pulses softly near the spot where she collapsed, an eerie beacon in the forest depths. In the royal chambers, the princess lies motionless upon her ornate bed, the silence broken only by the hushed whispers of worried attendants. The queen and king stand vigil, their faces mirroring the growing despair as royal sages gather, chanting and applying fragrant herbs in a desperate attempt to revive their daughter. Fearful glances are exchanged between the queen and king as they ask in unison, "What happened? Was she scared of something?" In the grand throne room, the king sits upon his ornate throne, his commanding gaze sweeping over the assembled sages. The air crackles with anticipation as each sage contemplates the king's decree, their expressions a mix of desperation and ambition. The king's voice booms through the hall. Whoever brings the princess back to consciousness will be made the owner of half the kingdom. Under the cloak of night, Qasim, cloaked in dark rags, approaches the formidable palace walls, his gaze darting nervously. Long, eerie shadows stretch across the ground, cast by the cold light of the moon, heightening the suspense of his clandestine approach. With swift, cautious movements, he seizes a pole and begins his ascent, a silent figure against the imposing stone. In Princess Bano's opulent room, Qasim leaps through the open window, a shadow against the moonlight. He sees Princess Bano lying still in her bed, her peaceful slumber juxtaposed with his frantic mission. His hands trembling with greed and fear, Qasim frantically stuffs glittering diamond jewelry into his bag. Qasim frantically stuffs items into his bag, the urgency of his escape palpable in every movement. Disaster strikes as a jewelry box slips from his trembling hands, crashing onto the floor with a resounding echo. Princess Bano's voice pierces the silence, laced with suspicion. "Who?" Qasim stands frozen in the dimly lit princess's room, his eyes wide with fright as dancing shadows flicker around him. Suddenly, the door bursts open with a deafening crash, shattering the silence. Grim-faced soldiers flood the room, their torches casting an intense, fiery glow that banishes the shadows. The king bursts into the princess's room, his face etched with a profound relief that battles overwhelming joy. He kneels at the princess's bedside, tears streaming down his weathered face as he clutches her hand. The princess stirs, her eyes fluttering open with confusion, as the king cries out, "My daughter, you're awake!" In the princess's room, the princess regards Qasim with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. The king turns to Qasim, his eyes reflecting profound gratitude and astonishment. Oh, young man. Who are you, and how did you suddenly bring my daughter back to her senses? Every sage in the world had tried and given up. A palace sage steps forward, his gaze fixed intently on Qasim, attempting to discern the truth behind the miracle. Of course, it must be the royal sage of Turkestan. Sunlight bathes the lavish throne room as King Salamat beams, his joy echoing in the celebratory cheers of the court. Courtiers whisper praise of the sage as King Salamat's voice rings out. Anyway, whoever you are, we are grateful to you for making the impossible possible. King Salamat gestures grandly. As promised, we will hand over half the kingdom to you, while Qasim, in borrowed finery, appears overwhelmed by the unfolding events. Inside his opulent chambers, Qasim nervously paces, sleep eluding him as he contemplates a life-altering decision. His troubled expression mirrors the internal conflict between his humble past and the allure of royal life. Clutching his meager belongings, Qasim whispers, "This was a golden opportunity to end my poverty. I could comfortably spend the rest of my life in the royal palace." In the grand throne room, Qasim stands before King Salamat and the silent, stunned court, taking a deep, fortifying breath. "1 minute, Your Majesty. May I make a request?" Qasim's voice rings out, breaking the heavy silence. Qasim's revelation pierces the air. "King Salamat, actually, I am not a sage. I am just an ordinary poor man. What you are all talking about. I am sure that the princess must have smelled a strange flower of 5 colors." In the grand royal court, King Qas sits upon his ornate throne, his sharp gaze sweeping over the worried faces of his advisors. Qasim stands before the king, his posture humble yet firm as King Qas demands, "Tell me, Qasim, what do you know about my daughter's lost memory?" Qasim's reply hangs in the air. "Oh yes, I remember. I was in the garden, and it was a very strange and beautiful flower." King Qas responds with anger. "You knew this, and yet you remained silent? You could have claimed half the kingdom by concealing this truth." Inside the grand royal court, King Qas listens intently to Qasim's impassioned plea, his eyes shimmering with unshed tears. A tremor runs through the king as he announces, "From today onwards, I announce that the price of everything in the country will be halved, and every effort will be made to provide free ration and jobs to the poor and disabled." His gaze turns to Qasim, heavy with burden and hope. "Qasim, I need your help to fulfill this responsibility." In the grand royal court, King Qas sits upon his ornate throne, his presence commanding attention as he addresses his subjects. Beside him, the princess stands gracefully, her gaze filled with genuine affection as she smiles warmly at Qasim. King Qas declares, "Yes, we have also decided to marry you to our daughter, and you will help us run the state by becoming a prince," his words resonating with power and promise.